Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the DFS Minute. I'm your host, Michael Rathburn, aka Rath. Find me on Twitter at Fantasy Rath, and we're here on Rotocurve Monday morning on July 27, 2015. News came out late last night around 12 o'clock Eastern time about the DraftKings investment round, something that we've been speculating on for several weeks, and it finally came through. We knew it had to come through probably by the end of July. I'm sure media buys have already been locked up, and they basically are in NFL mode. They're ready to go. So this money had to come through. They had to get it done by the end of July, and then I'm sure it's going to be a scramble, getting all the media situations straightened out as far as the marketing, where the ad spends are going to be, pushing the button, and getting ready to go and getting NFL contests up. And this is going to be a very, very interesting NFL season. We say that every year, but out of all of them, this is going to be the one, because this is the monster. There's tons of money out there, and people are spending it arguably like drunken sailors, and that's only going to mean good things for players in DFS playing NFL football this year, and hopefully college football as well. And I'm going to get into that a little bit. But so the news is DraftKings has raised $300 million. That's the round of funding that they've done. That now places them at a $1.2 billion valuation, which is the quote-unquote unicorn club. Now, here's the key and where that $1.2 billion comes in. Fox Sports is the major equity stakeholder here at 11% at 150 million. So basically what you do is you can multiply the 150 times 9, and it gets you, roughly 1.213-ish around that, so that's kind of where that number comes into play. That's where they value the company at, and they bought in at. So there's what goes along with this is not only, there's other investment partners involved. The key here is the Kraft Group, which is Robert Kraft, owner of the NFL New England Patriots. And I think this is key. Obviously, DraftKings has had a relationship with the Patriots. It's in their own backyard. But Robert Kraft, as an NFL owner, holds and wields a tremendous amount of influence and power within the group of ownership in the NFL. It's basically been stated that it's really like between him and Jerry Jones as far as who the owners are that really hold the most influence and most power. So it'd be very interesting to see, if the Dallas Cowboys do a deal with a DFS site, FanDuel or DraftKings, that could really be an indicator as far as where the situation could go with the NFL. I don't see anything happening soon. The NFL is very scared of the quote-unquote G word, and so we got to be careful about that. They embrace fantasy football, obviously, but they're very worried about the G word. So just definitely keep your eyes on that. Remember that we talked about that here first. So DraftKings has committed to spending $250 million on the Fox platforms over the next 3 years. Now, this is not exclusive. It's a non-exclusive deal, and so Fox is still going to be able to take advertising from other DFS companies. So that's key there. It's not an exclusive deal like ESPN, which is a $250 million ad spend, I believe, over 3 years, or the next 2 years, I believe. And then this Fox deal is 3 years. So a big amount of money is being committed here and being earmarked for Fox and for ESPN as far as ad spend goes. So DraftKings is banking that this industry is going to grow huge over the next 12 to 18 months here. This is going to pop pretty big, and so that's what they're hoping for. So the industry, or the games, or the contests, and the way things are going, definitely has to appeal to a more broader audience. So it would be interesting to see if some additional contests are going to be offered that are more beginner-based games, that don't really appeal to the hardcore DFS players. So I'm just very interested to see, how this kind of plays out, because certain sports you can do salary cap and it's fine, and in other ones it's pretty tough and it takes a lot of research. So I'm just curious to see if and how the product changes. One of the things that was also mentioned in this press release and article, this news announcement about the thing is the expansion into the United Kingdom for DraftKings. We do know that they did, file for a gaming license. So it's going to be curious to see what happens with the United Kingdom market. Obviously, whoever can crack that nut and break in and get in first is going to have a leg up. So my expectation on this, look, you're going to see a FanDuel and a DraftKings logo every single where you go, whether it's a sporting event, whether it's a live sporting event on TV, whether it's a major sports bar. Man, I'm telling you, like, you're going to be walking through the airport, you're going to see branding from DFS. I'm telling you, it's going to be that sick. Okay. You're going to walk through the airport, you're going to see DFS logo somewhere. I don't know where, but somewhere, man. It's just going to happen. Wherever there's, whether it's, we already seen it for subway stations. So there's natural that the airport's going to be next. That's only the tip of the iceberg. I'm telling you, man, these logos and this stuff is going to be everywhere you go. It's the only way this works. They have to do the splits, and they got to do it quick. So that's really where this is. As far as media goes, I think you're going to see heavy. Where I see the increase coming is obviously Sunday is we already know that, but I think you're going to see heavy ads on Saturdays. I think, like, during all these college football games, I think there's going to be a massive blitz of FanDuel and DraftKings ads. I'm telling you, man, you're going to be watching college football on a Saturday, and every single time they go to commercial break, it's going to be a DraftKings ad or a FanDuel ad. It's going to be that, if you're watching on ESPN, you're watching on Fox, you're going to see these ads. Obviously on ESPN, it's going to be DraftKings, and then on Fox, it could be, DraftKings, could be FanDuel. FanDuel, you're probably going to see more of their ads over on, NBC and some of those properties. But just telling you right now, man, it's going to be pretty significant. What does this mean necessarily for DraftKings moving forward in the NFL season? I'll do some brief speculation. We're going to go more in depth with this on future DFS minutes, and also tonight on the State of DFS show with Jason and with Dustin. So be on the lookout for that. So we're going to kind of dive into what's been happening in the industry over the last 2 weeks. We saw mergers and acquisitions in June and early July. Now we're seeing funding rounds. And the next step is going to be kind of, what the landscape's going to be for the NFL season as far as these major contests. So I'll just touch on a few things briefly. I said this in our forum post several weeks ago, and it was something I wanted to talk about, is there's going to be millionaires crowned every single week. I don't know how, but it looks like, probably $20, $25 entry with a massive GPP. Look, it's not for everybody. If you want to throw an entry in there just to have some entertainment value, that's basically what it is. It is a quote unquote lottery ticket. There is skill involved. Obviously, you got to build a great team, but you got to have a lot of things break your way. So that's going to be the key, getting everybody to play in those every week. Now, that's number one, millionaires being crowned every week, and that's going to be used in advertising, because what they can do is they can show a guy win, who won $1 million, and then they can use that in future ads throughout the season and kind of build upon that and create the story. Typically in the NFL, it's been one live event. Now, last year we did see NFL Playboy, and we saw Vegas. I think that you might see multiple live events in the NFL this year. I think that would be kind of a prediction for me, is that, we saw it with FanDuel, we saw it a little bit with DraftKings. I think that you're going to see maybe a once a month live final. And I think it's probably going to be at a football stadium involving a game. Now, whether it's on a Monday night, whether it's Sunday night, Sunday afternoon, I'm not particularly sure how that's going to work out, but I think you're going to see multiple live finals. I think you could potentially see one at the end of September, end of October. I think, whether or not we see 3 or 4 live finals this year from one of these sites, but I do expect multiple live finals. because they do want to have to try to play this out throughout the whole season. Having a 13 or 14 week build up to one tournament just doesn't cut the mustard anymore because the way the market's grown. So if you can run these 3 or 4 week qualifiers, and you can run satellites, throughout the entire week with other sports to fill these contests, and then, build interest up to these weekly qualifiers. So you're going to need like a week or two lead time. So don't be surprised if we see live final maybe first week in October, first week in November. And then obviously the big ones are going to come in December. So that's just my take on that. I think we'll see multiple live finals. Live finals at stadiums, I think, is the way to go. I think that's going to carry over to the NFL. And I think we're going to see more mainstream media coverage. What I mean by that is you're going to start seeing when these guys win $1 million, it was being shown on local TV when they would win. But I think that this is going to start breaking through more mainstream. I think you're going to start seeing the national news pick this up. I think that, when something goes down and somebody's winning $1 million of fantasy football, don't be surprised if some of this stuff starts hitting on these national nightly news shows on Monday night, Tuesday nights. I think that's just the way it's going to happen. I think that mainstream media coverage is coming. Look, they're gonna play on the G word. There's not much we can do about that except hopefully continue to educate people on why, for the most part, we feel like this is not gambling. There's always going to be people out there that feel it is. So it's our job in the industry to kind of educate people on why we feel it's not. So that's my take for today with the DFS Minute. Hope you guys enjoyed it. As we always say here at Roto Curve, stay classy, DFS, and be on the lookout tonight for a big State of DFS show with the Roto Curve team. Thanks again.